still going to talk about parametric equations. Well, actually, we're still going to talk about circular functions, which we talked about how these create a circle, and namely, it's the unit circle. So, when you graph this as a circle, please listen. Okay, we use parametric equations, which are a set of two equations, which is basically a set of two equations. Okay, and those two equations are going to be x equals cosine of t, where t is the angle, y equals sine of t, and like I said, t equals the angle. Okay, there's a couple things you can do with this. First of all, you want to make sure you're in the correct mode. Alright, if it asks for degree, you want to be in degree. If it asks for radians, you want to be in radians. The other thing you can do is you can hit second trace, and there's a function called, well actually, I'm sorry, the mode you should be in is PAR for parametric, and also degree and radians, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. Then you want to hit second trace, and this will give you a thing called value. When you have value, you will type in the value you want. And it'll type in the value you want for the angle, and it will give you sine and cosine. X will be cosine of the angle, y will be sine of the angle. Along with mode, you want to make sure you have the correct window. Your Tmin should be 0. Your Tmax should be 2 pi. And then they will tell you what to put for a T step, or for a step that'll be given. Bless you. So if we look at number 30 says graph a unit circle, and then it says to trace, but you don't have to trace. We're going to use the value function because it's good to know this here. Instead of actually tracing the circle, we're going to use the value function. So it says find that what they want to find is cosine 5 pi over 12 and sine 5 pi over 12. Okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make sure I'm in the correct mode. So here's my calculator. And usually we're on function mode. So I'm going to change it to PAR. The PAR means parametric because we're using parametric equations. Okay, and then I'm going to leave it in radians because it's 5 pi over 12, so that's fine. When I go to y equals, these are usually cleared out. We have to put cosine of t in the x. The t is right here where the x, t, theta, and this is a button for variables, so just cosine t. And then sine t. And then when we go to draw, to graph it, your guys' will look like this. It's now graphed as a circle because the rectangle is rectangular. So if you want to see the circle, you go to zoom square, and that'll make it more of a circle. And let's zoom in a little bit too. So there's a circle with radius 1. Okay. Now the thing says we want to find cosine 5 pi over 12, sine 5 pi over 12. So the way we do that is you can trace by moving like this if you want, but I don't really like to do that. Well, I guess if I can just put it in the calculator. So I hit second trace. And the thing that says value, I go to value, and I put the angle that I wanted in there, which was 5, and then pi, divided by 12. Let me show you window first. Your window should be 0 for Tmin, Tmax, 2 pi, and then T-step, it wanted pi over 12 it asked for, so second pi, divided by 12. So now we'll go back to graph. We'll graph it for a second trace to get our value. 5 pi divided by 12. And then our answer are these two values. What is the x value? Sine or cosine? Cosine is the x value, and sine is y value. So we should always go out to 4 decimal places. So that's 0.2588, and y is 0.9659. We're going to do the same thing for 35, only now 120. So now our T-min, because now we're in degrees, so our T-min and our T-max are going to change, and our T-step is given. You change, and we have to change our mode to degrees, exactly. So we'll do all that. Our T-step is given. What do you think our T-min is going to be? It wants to trace one whole circle, so what's the minimum angle you can put in for a circle?
0.
0, and the maximum degree is?
360.
360, good. So, we're going to go back here, and to change it to degrees, we hit mode. We're still on parametric, but we're going to change from radians to degrees. We still have cosine t, sine t. For our window, we put 0 and 360. And then our t-step, or our step, says use a scale of 5, so we'll say 5. And then we'll graph it. So again, it graphs a circle. Okay, and then we want to find 120, so we hit second trace, value, and what value are we going to put in? Good. And it gives us the x value is sine or cosine?
X is
Cosine, and y is sine. Good. So cosine of 120 is 0.5, negative 0.5.